It's Dr. Brandye. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. We're back at it again. How are you guys doing? It's just a chill Wednesday for me. As you can see, I'm in my hoodie and just kind of hanging out. I've been home all day with my daughter because she is sick, so it's just a chill day. I've been taking care of her. We've just been hanging out. So how have you guys been? How was your Wednesday? Anything interesting happen? Anything cool happen? We just were sitting watching movies and different things today, so just laughing and having a good time. So it was a chill day. It was a chill day. But happy hump day. It's Wednesday. Yes, yes. Thank you. It is Wednesday. Made it through to the middle of the week. We got a couple more days till the weekend hits, and then just fun times, fun times. Hey, Dr. Celeste. Thanks for joining. Hey, Dr. Mashika. Thanks for tuning in. So tonight, I just wanted to talk about something that's kind of been on my mind for a little bit, and I hadn't really figured out how I wanted to talk about it until now. And so I wanted to get on and just have a quick chat with you guys. And so tonight we're going to talk about a biohack that you can use to better sex, to have a better sex life. So let's get started. Put your seatbelt on. Let's do it. So I'm Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN and women's libido coach, and I teach women how to get their sexy back and how to feel good in and out of the bedroom. Now, I know there's a lot of things going around, like how to biohack your sleep or how to biohack your health and all these different things, or bulletproof your sleep and things like that. Biohacking to get a better sex life is one of those things that you can do as well. There are so many different ways that you can biohack and just up level your sex life and your sexual experience. And that's why I wanted to get on tonight and give you guys a couple of tips. So is that all right? Can we go ahead? Let's talk about it. So some of the biohacks are things that you guys probably know intuitively, but wouldn't think necessarily that there's a direct connection. So things like getting enough sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, you can definitely have issues in the bedroom because all you're thinking about is, I want to put my head on this pillow and be knocked out. And you're not even considering, like, okay, let's figure out how we can, have some pleasure tonight. Let's figure out how we can have some fun. You're just like, I need to get through the day. And if I can get through the day and get back to my bed, I'm good. So getting enough sleep is really, really important. Another reason why getting enough sleep is important, not only for you just feeling rested, because I don't know, have you ever, just kind of not gotten enough sleep and the next day you just feel like you're in a fog and all you can do is just the bare minimum. You're like, I have no energy, no anything, no desire to do anything above and beyond the bare minimum. You won't go exercise, you won't go hang out. It's just like, nope, I'm done. Once I get through the immediate needs of things, I'm done. And so that's the same thing that will happen with sex. Although sex is one of those things that is a need, just so you know, it is on the same level as breathing, eating, safety, shelter, all of those things. But it tends to get kicked out to the wayside, at least for us women sometimes. But the other reason that adequate sleep is important is because if you're not getting enough sleep, your body will start to release more cortisol. And cortisol is a hormone that gets released when you're having lots of stress. It's one of those fight or flight hormones that can show up. And so when you're in that type of a state, that also kind of tweaks your brain and you're not thinking about reproductive processes, and you're not thinking about sex and getting it on. You're thinking about, okay, how can I survive? So it definitely has a mental component to it as well, with that cortisol level being elevated. And then thirdly, along those same lines as with the cortisol, it is a hormone that starts from a precursor. And that precursor is also the same precursor that our bodies use and convert into our sex hormones. So estrogen, progesterone, things like that. So if your body is in a certain environment or in a certain state, that's going to influence whether the precursor will be shunted into a path of making cortisol or making estrogen and progesterone and things like that. And so if you're in that state and you're going over here to cortisol, there's not much happening with estrogen and progesterone and things like that. And so you're not going to have that loving feeling because you're not getting those hormones and that burst of hormones, because it's all going to the cortisol. So sleep is our first biohack. You got to get enough sleep. And it also will help you with things like weight loss. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're more likely to be overweight or obese. Because again, that cortisol, it packs the fat right here in your midsection. And that can impact your image of yourself and how you feel about yourself. And so then you have another issue where it's like, well, I don't want anybody to see my body. I have these hips or these rolls or stretch marks and things like that. So definitely sleep is important. So that's biohack number 1. So biohack number 2 is exercise. And you guys know, we've talked about this a couple other times. I'm not an exercise for exercise sake kind of girl. So if I'm doing something that is physical, it has to be something fun, something that is engaging. And for me, a lot of times that's dancing. I do like to go on walks as well. Those help me to relieve my stress. So I like going on walks, but I love to dance. And so that's kind of my physical activity. But doing any type of physical activity, whether it's going to the gym or dancing or, playing a sport or something like that, those types of activities actually will increase your level of feel-good hormones, your endorphins. And so if you feel good, then you are more likely to want to engage in sexual activity and things that are pleasurable. And they've done some studies to show that. So if you overall are feeling pretty good, then you are very unlikely to have issues with desire and low libido. So keep doing those physical activities, go to that Zumba class, take that belly dancing class, play tennis, whatever sport or activity you like, go ahead and just make that happen, because that will help you in the bedroom. And that's my specialty. I want to teach you how to feel good in and out of the bedroom. Hey, Dr. Brandye, thanks for joining. So again, we're talking about a few biohacks that you can use to get to a better sex life. So we talked about sleep. We talked about exercise or physical activity. The third thing that I wanted to talk with you about is something called emotional intimacy. Now, when I talk about sexual desire and low libido, I like to think of it as being influenced by 4 different categories. So you have your physical category, which is, everything to do with your body, how your body's working and all of that. You have the mental category, which has to do with your intellectual stimulation and, how you are feeling about your place in the world and your contribution to the world. There's the spiritual part of it, which is about how you relate to not only a higher power, whether that's God, for me that's God, or whatever spiritual being that you relate to. And then there's the emotional part of it, or the emotional category. And the emotional category, when I think about those things, I think about what do you need in terms of supporting your emotion. And for emotional intimacy, you need 4 different things. There are 4 keys. One is just a feeling of safety. You need 2, a feeling that you are supported. 3, you need curiosity. And 4, you need vulnerability. Now, out of all of those, I think the 4th one is the most important, and that's vulnerability. A lot of times, when we're interacting with people, we are nervous or afraid to really speak up and say the things that we really think or feel, because we are worried about being rejected or being judged about how we think, how we feel. And so we tend to go with the party line, and whatever is going on around us, we tend to follow that and follow the crowd. So when you are being vulnerable, you are taking a step and putting yourself out there, essentially, and saying, this is what I think and this is what I feel. And that type of authenticity actually draws people into you, as opposed to making you feel like you're at a distance, or you're awkward, or you're not being honest. You may feel like you have a mask up and people don't really know who you are. So that's one thing that contributes to that vulnerability. Another thing that contributes to vulnerability is just you being comfortable with who you are, and loving yourself. That is something that in the past I've struggled with, and still a little bit now, just with loving myself and being grateful for who I am and what I bring to the world and why I'm here. But that's important, because if you don't love you, then you don't have love that you can then give to another person. And we know that sex is just an emotion in motion. So if you don't have that, sense of love for yourself, if you don't care for yourself and love for yourself, it's very, very difficult for you to then love on other people, and love on other people in kind of an unconditional way. You can love on other people, but it could turn into a couple of other things, toxic love and codependency and things like that. So loving yourself, being in love with yourself and who you are. So those 2 things are big. And Dr. Brandye, she's saying that vulnerability is big. It is to open yourself up to someone and to share what's on your heart. Oh, that is such a big thing. But what you'll find when you do that is there is almost an outpouring of emotion. There's an outpouring of love. And then there tends to be a boost in attractiveness and a boost in sexual energy too. So sometimes if you've done this before and you've been vulnerable with your partner, you'll find that after you've shared whatever it is that you needed to share, you guys are able to have a wonderful sexual experience. You have the best orgasm that you ever had. You just feel emotionally satisfied, in addition to the physical sensations of being satisfied after you've had one of those vulnerable moments. So you want to work those in, and, have times where you have those deep conversations with your intimate partner, because that's how you get to truly know someone. And when you truly know someone, you feel that connection, and that sense of connectedness is very essential to to having a wonderful sexual experience and a wonderful sex life. So, oh yeah, Dr. Ferlandi, she said that's true. It really is. It really is. So I would encourage you to look at ways that you can create a more emotional intimacy in your relationships, because it really will pay big dividends, both in how you interact with your partner outside of the bedroom, but it definitely will pay off in the bedroom as well. And then lastly, when it comes to vulnerability, you have to be able to trust that you know what you can do, what you need to do, know that you can handle whatever situation that comes your way. And for me, that's my definition of sexy, is having this confidence in yourself where you got this no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're you just got to go and try to figure out how to get your flat tire changed or get your oil changed, or you got to figure out how you're going to move mountains because you got to take care of your mom or your dad because they're struggling. So that to me is, yes, it's a part of that emotional intimacy and being vulnerable, but it's also sexy. It's sexy to be that woman who can do the things that need to be done, who can get things done, and who trusts in herself to do that. And that confidence level is just phenomenal. That is an attractive force, and people are attracted to that, and your partner will be attracted to that as well. So that's the third biohack, just emotional intimacy. So we talked about sleep and getting enough sleep. We talked about you getting some physical activity in there, whether that's exercise at the gym or you doing a belly dancing class or Zumba. And then we talked about emotional intimacy and how that can definitely translate into, all those things can translate into a better sex life. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Hey, Kelvin, thanks for jumping on. You can catch the replay. And if you are watching this on replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments. And then let me know if there's anything that you want to comment about. If you have any questions, you can throw those in to the comments as well. I'll definitely circle back and, get back to you if you have any questions about what we talked about. You know what I always say, sharing is caring. So if you know someone who would love to have this information, who needs this information, please share this video with them. I'd love to have them to get their hands on this information, because my passion, as you know, is teaching women how to be their best selves and how to have their best life. And that includes having their best sex life. So thanks guys for joining. Next week, we are going to have some fun things happening and some surprises. So make sure you tune in. We're going to be going live at least 3 days a week. I'm planning to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday for next week. So plan to tune in about this time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because we're going to have some special treats for you. There's some things coming up and I want to make sure that you don't miss them. All right. So I'm Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN and women's libido coach, and I teach women how to feel good in and out of the bedroom and how to get their sexy back. Thanks for joining tonight, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.